The View menu. The View menu will help us in how things actually appear on the screen itself. The default view is always going to be normal. If I go over to Page Layout and click on Page Layout on my screen, I'm actually seeing the edge between one page and another. This is going to work very similar to Microsoft Word. If I go down on my Zoom button and close in on the size of the screen, notice now it allows me to see the full page itself. Notice instead of going to Print Preview, I can click right here to add a header. If I go down to the bottom, I can click right here to add my footer. This lets me now, moreover, to see all of the pages that are in my spreadsheet and exactly where the splits come in. So it's a great characteristic that really allows us to see what's going on before we get to Print Preview. Now if I'd like to see my page breaks and be able to operate those, right next to Page Layout, I'll see Page Break. When I click on the page break, it displays me a blue border around each of the pages. Here I can go to that blue line, rest my mouse, click, hold, and drag right while I'm on the blue line. When I release my mouse, notice now that I have a blue bar on page 1 and I have now created a new page 2. When I go back to my normal view, you will now see that it looks just the same. But if I go back to Page Preview, I have the secondary item just on the second page. Now if I go ahead and undo, it's back again to the normal view. Go back, undo one more time, I'm back to the Page Preview. One more time, and I'm back to my original layout. Now see, it took me 3 undos before I got back to my Page Preview. This is for the reason that I changed to the normal view. That was my first undo. Then I changed back to Page Break Preview, my second undo. And then finally, putting these cells back on page 1 was my third undo. Remember, when you're using the undo, it tracks every single move. So if you have clicked to another spreadsheet, that is going to be a step. When using undo, remember it's going to take more than one click depending on what you've done earlier. Now, a benefit is when you go to the button for the undo, you will see all of your last moves. So never consider that the undo is not working. Always remember, it's following your particular activity. Now with our Page Break Preview, we also have a full screen option. Here I go back to normal view again. I'm going to adjust my borders one more time so we're on the top of the screen, and now I'm going to click a tab, Full Screen. Here you can see that the full screen removes the ribbon completely. The idea behind this full screen is if you want to send somebody a screenshot, you could in fact hit your screenshot button and send it to them without the ribbon. If I go ahead and right click, I can close this full screen. Now of course, we know we can double click on the home menu, and when we do, it closes up the ribbon. But you'll see that the menu is still there. If I double click, I can open it back up again and once again return to view. By going to a full screen, I remove all of that together. This is kind of wonderful when you're doing print screens for procedures or an area that you actually do not want the ribbon to show. Again, to close the full screen, right-click and close the full screen. Now you'll see in the middle of Page Break and Full Screen that I can actually do a custom view. Once you have altered things on the screen, possibly the zoom size, possibly full screen versus Page Break Preview, you can in fact save it as your own particular view. Working with these is a very nice way to quickly move around Excel. Notice View menu, in which we can see the zoom section. The zoom for 100% selection lets us, again, to quickly move the screen. If I go to the inventory turnover and I zoom to the selection, see how that became very big on the screen? If you're doing a presentation in front of a room on a projector, this can be a wonderful feature. 100%. I'll go straight down to 100% again. Now think of when you're doing the percentages, I always have the ability to change those percentages right on the bottom of the screen itself. Be careful as you're going back and forth. From time to time, you may see that it closes up the information from one's cell also. The whole idea of the View menu is to create your screen the way you need it to be noticed.